Hi guys, Dean here again. Shortly after the last video that I posted, I watched one of the Metal Theologian's videos, Aaron, as you all know, and he was talking about the noise catalogue, specifically the fact that on their inners they used to show obviously other artists within their catalogue, and that sort of made good want list basically to base your collection on. That sort of thing basically, that's what I'm talking about, for those that don't know. But anyway, I spoke to Aaron on this, a few different comments just sort of pointing out that he'd realised the fact that on one of the inner sheets, I think where they show, I think it was 16 albums, he'd actually got a full set of albums, so obviously created a video on the back of it. And then I said that obviously I used the sheet myself actually in a similar sort of fashion, not potentially go out and buy all of them, but just as a guide to, you know, obviously if I like this album then I'm probably going to like others similar to it. So, but it got me talking about the record shop as well that I bought these from. So I thought I'd do this video more of not so much of showing the records themselves, but more of sort of talking about the record shop that I actually bought them. And this was sort of more integral to my record collecting, I suppose. Probably the second most important record shop that I had in my life at the time. And this was probably the first one that really got me interested in record collecting. And music probably as well, more so. So anyway, the record shop in question was Signals in Lincoln. For those of you that know Lincoln, it's based around the market area, opposite where I think Waterstones sits now. It's quite a small frontage shop, but it went a long way back. And they sold vinyl, obviously, CDs, t-shirts, DVDs at the time, gig tickets as well, I think. Pretty sure I bought tickets for Donington 88 there. Could be wrong. Anyway, it was certainly a hub. It was predominantly sort of rock and metal based. There was some punk there, I believe, but there wasn't much else, I'm pretty sure. Probably because there was already an Now Price in town as well, literally around the corner. And also happened to be a second-hand dealer as well, further in town as well. So I think they pretty much cornered the market. Lincolnshire, sort of Nottinghamshire, sort of Yorkshire is quite, there's a big metal community, I suppose. But I suppose you could say that for lots of different parts of the UK as well. But there were certainly a lot of clubs like Nottingham Rock City and so forth that sort of fueled that type of music. So anyway, so I used to go down quite regularly to Signals in Lincoln to essentially browse through what they had. I was just pretty much starting out on the sort of metal front. I had friends that would give me tapes of different things, and it just so happened that I stumbled across this record shop. Wasn't recommended to me by anybody. Purely found it by accident actually. So walking in, obviously it seemed a bit sort of overpowering. I'd see literally rows upon rows of vinyl. Didn't really know where to start, so just basically started flicking through. And the first album really that sort of took or grabbed my attention was this. So this is Halloween, Walls of Jericho. And for those of you that know, obviously Halloween are on the Noise label. So, this was certainly my inroads into getting something like this. And looking at the inner sleeve, you've got people like Running Wild, you've got Creator, Overkill, Gravedigger, Rage, Sabbath. So lots of very similar sort of sounding bands to Halloween. I love this album. I thought this album was an absolute cracker. Sort of paved the way for Keeper Parts 1 and 2 with Michael Keith coming on board. yeah, I mean, Kai Hansen, I think, you know, was a great vocalist for them anyway. Michael Kiske just added another dimension, you know, and had a dedicated frontman rather than a guitarist as well. But this album certainly kick-started, I think, a lot for me. On the back of that, I ended up buying that. So this was their first album. Yeah, and for those sort of onwards, then I started delving around. It just so happens, actually, weirdly, which I only thought about this the other day. So when I was thinking about doing this video, I'd say Halloween was pretty much my first metal record, I would say, that I ever bought on vinyl. It just so happens that the record that got me back into record collecting again, after selling all my collection previously, as I've mentioned before, was also this. This is the 2LP Back on Black reissue. Saw this, it was on, it's like one yellow, one red vinyl, I won't get it out, but this has also got the contents, basically, the other one I've just showed, the first EP, and also the Judas track, which was released as a 12-inch, I believe. But yeah, I saw that and I thought, you know, yeah, that looks pretty cool. Loved Halloween. It sort of just instantly took me back to that, what I loved about music, what I loved about collecting, and I think at that point this was the injection that I needed. I got to a point where I got rid of all my CDs, I was onto MP3, and I was just detached from the music. So having this sort of come into my eye line, you know, sort of got that idea into my head. Maybe I should go back to vinyl. And this was going back now, 5 years ago. Yeah, maybe 5 years ago, when I first started picking up vinyl, maybe 4. But yeah, and then obviously, you know, it's like riding a bike. Once you start, it's easy enough. Anyway, I digress. So, fantastic resource, the shop in Lincoln, absolutely superb. As mentioned previously, went on to part 1, and obviously also part 2 for Halloween. And there were many other bands as well there, again, as I've already mentioned from the inner sleeve that was showed. So we had Rage, again Perfect Man there, and Reflections of a Shadow as well, which is also on the Noise label. And the aforementioned Gravedigger, which I think was the one that Aaron based his inner sleeve on, that he got everything on there. There was also a band called Sado, which are on the Noise label. I think it's Sado rather than Sado, but who am I to judge? But those guys were pretty, you can probably tell by the cover, certainly on that one, probably even on that one, certainly on the back. They were using sex to essentially sell records at the certainly at the beginning of the career. Maybe that's why they brought out Sensitive with a non-sexy cover. But yeah, so there were lots of bands like that. So the Noise catalogue certainly was a massive pool of resource, and again I had Creator albums, I had Running Wild albums, which I don't necessarily have at the moment. Sabbath I do have, which I haven't pulled out. But again, there were a couple of other labels, you know, so delving into Noise obviously got me into other labels and looking at other bands, specifically probably on the heavy metal record side of things, and also Neat Records. Again, they were a big label at the time, but also another one which was, the label wasn't particularly that well known in the UK at the time, was Under One Flag, which we had guys from Death Angel on. I think there were a few others from memory. I just can't remember who they were, that sort of came through under that sort of banner. I think that's American metal label anyway, I suppose pretty much in the same vein as Metal Blade. Obviously we had Music for Nations and so forth, but Music for Nations, a US label. But again, so yeah, so there's a small pool of labels that obviously were catering for the rock and metal market very heavily at the time, which is fantastic. And I think without those labels, you know, probably wouldn't have gone down the metal route maybe. But certainly without the record shop, I would definitely not have gone down potentially the metal route. So yeah, so thanks to Signals. Sadly it's not there any longer. Like I say, that was the record shop that kick-started my habit of. There was another record shop which I have mentioned previously in one of my videos, probably haven't much else, so I'll maybe do a video about that and potentially what I was picking up there as well. But yeah, so I thought I'd just, I say almost as a bit of a homage to Aaron's video, just sort of go through some of the bits and bobs that I picked up on the way. There's a lot more noise stuff, and there's a lot more. I've got Music for Nations, I've got Metal Blade Records, you know, I could go on and on forever, as I'm sure everybody can, but I just thought, just highlight what it meant to me, the record shop and the noise label basically kick-started all this essentially. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.